platforms that we have, the weapons that we have, the systems that we operate. So that is the first part. So we need to be doing a little bit of forecasting. What is the requirements, and that should be followed towards what we'll need in the future. I'm very convinced in my mind that even if a homegrown system gives me a slightly lesser performance in terms of up to even if it is 90% or 85% of what I get in the world market, we will go for homegrown system. I can divide it into 2-3 parts. First, of course, being the equipment, the platforms that we have, the weapons that we have, the systems that we operate. So that is the first part. So towards that, efforts are on to always continue with your procurement of the latest that is available in the market, whatever we can afford, while giving preference to whatever is being developed in India. And the requirement to have that is, otherwise we will end up being, wanting for spares like we've seen with these war-like conditions that were, the wars that were happening in the world. So to avoid that, it is always preferred that we have some homegrown products. Even if we don't have a home-developed product, at least should be made in India. That should be the preference. And while that is a costly affair, we continue upgrading our systems that exist, giving them a new lease of life. That is as far as equipment is concerned. Second requirement, I would say, will be the infrastructure. We need to have supporting infrastructure so that we can operate this equipment in the correct environment. And third will be the human resource, the people behind, the man behind the machine, the men and women behind the machine. So to give them the correct kind of training, to give them the correct kind of psyche to operate those equipment, to give them the understanding of what is happening in the world, so that they are able to draw the correct lessons, to groom the leaders for tomorrow, so that they are able to take the Indian Air Force on the right path. So that is as far as capability is concerned. But capacity-wise, I'll say, we need to be able to take on this long, protracted wars, for which we need the capacity to be able to come up with that production rate that will be required for the weapons during war. We will not be able to store or have a big stock, because they all have life, and we can't afford to just keep losing these weapons because of their life being expired. So we'll have to have a happy mix of what we store and what we have the confidence that our industry will come up and produce those weapons in terms of capacity. And capacity, we within the Air Force have the capacity to continue with that protracted war. That is what is required.
So the key enablers, now this is one question that everybody is asking, so key enablers to transformation in the Indian Air Force, and what guiding tenets will shape the future capability build-up? So, like it was alluded to in the last talk also, that session, I think the key enablers will be the technology. We need to make sure that we remain abreast with the technology. We need to make sure that we utilize it in the most optimum manner. And once we are able to catch up with the technology, I think thereafter it will be a smooth ride. So at the moment we are lagging in technology. So we need to maybe get into a mission mode to make sure that we are able to get our act together and produce or develop systems at a faster pace so that we catch up with the world. So that will be the requirement to move forward in this direction. I've actually lost track of what you asked last, the part of it. Sir, guiding tenets that will shape its future capability build-up, sir.
Yeah, so like I said, we need to be thinking about our future. We can't be fighting a war of yesterday. We have to fight a war for future, so we need to be doing a little bit of introspection as far as how we've handled our previous engagements, and also thinking of what is lying in the future, and be prepared to address that. So we need to be doing a little bit of forecasting, what is the requirements, and that should be followed towards what we'll need in the future.
So
Now, sir, in terms of capital acquisition, sir, we're talking about so many platforms. Capital acquisition is central to all of this, sir. What is the primary focus of the Indian Air Force in terms of capital acquisition, and how does it support the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
So, as I said, our first priority is anything that is homegrown. I'm very convinced in my mind that even if a homegrown system gives me a slightly lesser performance in terms of, up to, even if it is 90% or 85% of what I get in the world market, we will go for homegrown system, because that is the only way we can get over with this, always looking outward to get our systems in. So that is how we are going to move on. But at the same time, a homegrown system cannot just happen overnight. It will take time and it needs to be supported. So for that, Indian Air Force is fully committed to any R&D project. Of course, we have been a very integral part of all the developments that have taken place, whether it is in the aircraft domain or in systems domain or in the guided weapons domain. Indian Air Force has been, the members from Indian Air Force have been a part of that team. We have been fully supportive of this. And while we are doing this, at the same time, we may have to look at some systems which are available, but they can be made in India. That will give us a boost. That way the new technology comes into India at a quick pace. And also it gives us sort of a wider base to look at when it comes to productionizing our homegrown systems. So that is what we should be looking at.
Sir, the theme of our conclave is Bharat 2047, Atmanirbhar in War. Sir, I wanted to ask, in the Indian Air Force's vision of 2047, sir, where is Atmanirbharta? You've also, in the previous questions, you have certainly mentioned that, even if you get 85-90% of the performance that you get in foreign platforms, the Indian Air Force is going to back domestic platforms to the best of their capability, including R&D. But where does Atmanirbharta figure in this, sir, in your 2047 vision?
So I feel this question is not just for the Indian Air Force. It is for the whole nation to answer. Where are we headed in 2047? I can take a vow today that I will not buy anything from outside, but or I will wait for anything that is developed in India. But that may not be possible in case it doesn't come up at that pace. Like I told you, at the moment we all are aware that we are very badly off in terms of numbers, and the numbers which have been promised are also coming a little slow. So there will be requirement to go, to go look for something which can quickly fill up these voids. But I personally feel if we all get our act together, we all take a vow that henceforth at least there will be no more slippages in our timelines. Henceforth at least there will be, whatever technology we can do on our own, we grab that technology, whatever technology we require to maybe collaborate with the world. We do that, but somehow we need to accelerate this pace. We've done an exercise in-house study. We need to actually produce or induct aircraft at the rate of almost 2 squadrons per year to cater for, the ramped up numbers that we want, plus whatever is going to go out very soon. We have a lot of fleets which are, another 5 to 10 years, we'll have to phase them out. So those fleets have to be filled up also, plus we already have vacancies available. So it means we are looking at something like 35 to 40 aircraft a year being produced somewhere. So those capacities, I understand, cannot come up overnight, but we need to start pushing ourselves towards that. Now, like LCA Mark 1A production, HAL has promised that from next year onwards, we will have 24 aircraft being made per year. So I'm very happy with that. If we're talking about 24 aircraft of Mark 1A, plus some Sukhois or some other aircraft. So we are looking at numbers like 30 per year possible by HAL alone. Along with that, if you have some private player coming in, we have a very good model of transport aircraft at least at the moment, C295. If some private industry comes in for a Make in India, let's say, we add another maybe 12 to 18 aircraft per year from their side. So we are reaching that number. So that is possible. It is not that it is not possible. But yes, we need to make sure that we don't take a very, we don't lose steam while we are pushing this.